Hi, welcome back. My name is Thomas. I'm the guy that grew up wanting to look like Leon, and instead I turned out like Louis Seta.
Name's Luis. Encantado.
So, today we'll be talking about
Resident Evil 4.
I'm going to be breaking this video up into segments to make it more digestible, easier just to follow along, and to be a part of. So, yeah, let's just jump right into it. Pretty much, I thought, as a whole, that the remake was just kind of meh.
You what?
There are a lot of positives and there are some negatives that I want to talk about. Just keep in mind I'm a huge fan of the original, so this game to me really meant a lot when I heard that it would be remade, considering that the classic came out in 2005 and I've been playing it at least once and beating it on the hardest difficulty once. Just once, every single year of my life since that point.
That's 3 years of my life. But I love sports.
Now that there's a remake, let's just dive right into it. Starting off with story.
Ashley. Ashley Graham, are you in here?
So pretty much, Resident Evil 4, the remake, follows beat by beat the classic. It's just a very simple story of Leon S. Kennedy being tasked by the president to go save the president's daughter, Ashley Graham, from some weird cult in Spain called Los Illuminatos.
Los Illuminados? That's a mouthful.
He goes, saves Ashley, brings her back. Boom. End of the story. But why is that so interesting? Well, it's because of everything that surrounds that main premise. Leon has to go and save this chick while trying to figure out, what the hell is really going on with the people there. It's primarily just a virus called Las Plagas, which their cult leader, Lord Sadler, has been working on for years with all of his comrades, trying to figure out how to make the perfect virus to then spread it to America so that Lord Sadler can pretty much acquire world domination. That's his goal. He's the big bad guy. He's a little meanie. No one likes him. I don't like him. You don't like him, right? You don't like him? Good. Very good. Moving on. A story could only really be as good as its characters, which is our next topic.
Great, we're partners then.
Hey, why are you...
No time for any questions. The clock is ticking.
So, starting off very, very, very early, you are introduced to your main character, your protagonist, Leon S. Kennedy. He's essentially just a cop, and judging from the Resident Evil 2 remake, a very innocent, loving, compassionate, caring, understanding one at that.
Leon Kennedy. There was another off strike. I couldn't... Yeah, well, I was supposed to start last week, and I got a call to stay away. I wish I'd come here sooner.
As a 21-year-old, his main job when he first joined the force, or his main purpose, was to help as many people as possible. And then after the events of Raccoon City, on his first day on the force, he essentially just got thrown into, being the president's right-hand man, and being tasked with saving Ashley Graham, the president's daughter. Another important piece of the puzzle here. I think they did an amazing job with Ashley. I think they really pushed that character and they just wrote her better. Instead of just being this damsel in distress of, oh my god, Leon, help me, which was so fucking annoying. They just made her character better. She's more of a person and she has some agency. I think my favorite part about Ashley in this game is the fact that she cheers Leon on throughout the entire game. Like, yeah, she's scared and she's always on the verge of death, but it's like she genuinely starts to form a bond with Leon, which is presented really well in this remake compared to the first game.
It's okay to be afraid, you know. But you can't run. You gotta keep moving forward. We will beat this. Together.
I don't know if I can.
You can. Just give me a heads up before you stab me next time, okay?
And now it's like, oh no, I really don't want her dead. I don't want to hurt her at all. Because she's just great. Louis Seta, who I look like now. He is... Ugh. I don't know if I like him any better than the first game. Personally, I think he has some lines of dialogue that are great. And again, the voice actor did a great job. It's just that I think as a whole, his character is very annoying. Like, I think he kind of took the place of Ashley from the first game in this game. Just for every time that you're on screen with him, he always needs to crack a joke, and it's like, It's just never time and place with the guy. It's so annoying. Like, during that entire fight in the cabin, hearing him say the same 3 lines on repeat, or 2 lines or whatever of
Perfect timing. Give me a hand. Give me a hand here. It'll help.
Shut the fuck up. Know your fucking place, trash.
spoilers, by the way, if you haven't played either of the games in all this time. Spoiler, Luis fucking dies. He gets clapped.
You know it means we're almost... Almost what?
In his final moments, he really shows who he truly is, and he clearly hides behind his jokes and his banter from his own insecurities and his feeling of self-worth that he really doesn't have. That's why he's kind of doing what he's doing, because he feels bad for helping create this virus.
Ashley. You know, I led a pretty shitty life. But now, eh? What do you think, Leon? People can change, right?
Ada's kind of just there. She clearly survived after the events of Resident Evil 2, where Leon saw her die and fall to her death. But no, yeah, she's fine. And she's back here to just tease him.
Maybe you'll live to meet me again. And then I might get you that greeting you were looking for.
And she's just there just to get a bit of the virus for Wesker. But I think Ada's voice actor, she got a lot of hate for her adaptation of the character. I think she did deliver a lot of lines that were really bland and really out of place, but I don't blame her for that. I just primarily, it's like the writing. It's like the writing is great for so many parts of this game, but as a whole, wow, some of the lines and the interactions with characters are just weird, just so out of place, and it makes me cringe.
Oh, Leon. You know I don't work in town. Everything will work out just fine.
As long as you can keep your dog under control.
He's a good boy. Predictable.
Fine.
Talking about the opposing forces, Ramon Salazar did great. I think as a whole, he's way better than his counterpart from the first game, who was just this little baby man who kind of cried and complained the entire time.
Not to worry. We've prepared a special ritual for you.
And I think in the remake, he was actually somewhat intimidating. I think his build-up with Leon and Ashley throughout the entire castle portion of the game when you first meet him really amplified his status as a big bad. He felt more to me like a big bad than Sadler, and Sadler's literally the godfather of the virus. He's the big dude who's in charge. And then talking about Lord Sadler, why is it just some pasty white dude? Why is it just some white guy? Like, does no one else ask that question? Granted, he was just some kind of white dude in the first game, but in the first game, he had more personality than I think in the remake, and he's the main bad guy of the entire game. Granted, I think in both games, they didn't do a good job of presenting the villain and then ending the villain. They kind of like loom over Leon for a bit, and then he's like, well, I'm gonna kill you now, and then the games just end. It's like, okay, but I think in the remake, he was handled so poorly. He has like barely any screen time, and whenever he is on screen, it's just like, oh, las plagas, las plagas, las plagas. Who cares? Who cares? Like, you inject Leon and Ashley with las plagas. It's like, who cares, my guy? You did nothing, and then you die. When he dies, Leon delivers my favorite line in the entire remake.
I'll give you a holy body.
That's awesome. Thank you. Well done. But Lord Sadler sucked in this game, and his boss fight sucked too. I think it comes down to gameplay, which is now our next topic.
Enough play, rookie.
You can't save her. You can't save anyone. See, in that jungle, I had a revelation. Enough reminiscing. Move out and draw fire, soldier! That's the difference between you and me, Wookie. Training's not done. Last lesson starts right now. Legends will.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
Ashley, it was you.
Catch him quick. Didn't I teach you? Knives are faster. Not good.
Gloria a las plagas! Gloria a las plagas!
Knife needs care every once in a while. Could be the difference between life and death.
So let's talk about gameplay. I'm not going to say that I dislike it because I don't dislike it. I think when it comes down to gameplay, you need to understand that the first game came out in 2005 and it was very clunky and it was very not organized. It was kind of just like mash this and mash that and then stab with your knife and shoot a bit and then reload. And you could barely do any of that while moving. It's mainly while you're stationary, you're just kind of there. Enter the remake where you can pretty much do everything moving, which is awesome. That sounds like such a simple change, just being able to move, but it really is a huge change. People don't seem to really get the fact that what made the first game so scary is that eerie feeling that comes from those clunky controls. Look at the remake and its gameplay as something completely different from the original, but in the remake, you can now parry every single attack if you're good enough at the game with a knife that has durability, and yes, it does break over time and you can just keep getting more, but my thing is like, it makes it not scary. I get it, Leon's this trained military background dude now, and it shows in the way that he plays, and he's like a marksman with every weapon, and he's really good with knife combat, hand-to-hand stuff, you know, so it translates into gameplay. And granted, in the original game, you could defend yourself. I mean, you had guns, you had like a laser blasting hand cannon, whatever the hell thing, you had that, sure, but you could never parry. And because you could never parry, it really spiked your adrenaline throughout the entire playthrough. I mean, like, you're versing hordes of random villagers and just infected people and monsters and all these different things, and you can never parry a single hit. It was always, are you good enough to just run around and play the game well enough to the point that you can outlast and survive this entire scenario? It's like, you know, that showed that skill. That showed that survival horror to it. It wasn't just, oh my god, like, let me shotgun blast you, do like a 360 and then parry you. Oh no, my knife broke, here's a kitchen knife. Like, no, it was more grounded in the time back in 2005. It was just scarier that way, and I think in this game, that's where it kind of fails. The sounds in this game are great, from every bullet shot. Every bone crunch. Every stip stomp from you or any other monster or creature around you. It's just that what I noticed, and what I didn't like, but I didn't even kind of realize until last second, was that they make you pay for the sound files from the first Resident Evil 4 for this game. That's kind of ridiculous.
Believe it or not, it takes quite a lot of money to keep this church up and running.
It blows my mind. It's kind of gross to me. That feeds into like my last closing topic.
Somehow I managed to get myself involved with the incident in Raccoon City on my first day in the Force.
You know, this entire game and every remake that's come out is just sheer nostalgia. I see things for what they are, and the fact that we've gotten 3 remakes because now Capcom is like, well, this is gonna give us money, that scares me more than gives me hope. Yeah, Resident Evil Village was cool, but it was literally just a first-person Resident Evil 4. Like, that's why people liked it. I don't know. Yeah, as a closing statement to this entire video, I just wanted to say that I think the Resident Evil 4 remake is good for itself, for its own separate game. I really don't consider it a remake to the classic. I think it's its own game. It's just, it's over there and the classic's over here. And you can choose to love whichever. I'm not going to sit here and fight you on that. I think you're allowed to your own opinion like I am with my own opinion. I don't think this is going to really stick with me for the rest of my life like the classic did. And that's disappointing. And I think it also did hit a lot of good marks, and I bet that you can sit there and prattle on about how good the game is, and it is a great game. But to me, it just kind of leaves me wanting. And that's sad, because the classic is one of my favorite games, if not my favorite game of all time. And here I am talking about what I didn't like about it. And I think that I will stick with the classic Resident Evil 4 until I die. But yeah, this is my little wolf that I saved. Yes, thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Your opinion matters. So like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.